Want some, get some. How about those friggin' Pirates?
Yes, I am a pirate.
You have to go with the Pirates because, of course, they have cannons and everything.
It's a pirate's life for me.
Be proud of who you are and what you are. You're a pirate.
It is a first down. Pirates.
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
I think I've ever been in a building as loud as that was. It was deafening in there.
You will get them on. I can promise you that.
Painted purple all night long in Eastern North Carolina.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
Yeah. My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down to my soul. And I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode.
All right, welcome into the Pirate Playback right here on the Sports Objective. Pirates get a big win on the road, like Willie Nelson on the road again, and they beat the Monarchs 20-14. With us right now, the man that did not go to Norfolk. He's going to go with us to Norfolk next time, so he doesn't have to watch the broadcast. Kyle from LaGrange Barber, what's up?
I was noticing. I was noticing on the intro, looking at the animated images, the comic book images of us with our real images, that Matt looks like a villain from an '80s NES game on his animated version.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, good to get the win. Great defense last night, and amazing to win that game with 4 interceptions. Good God, but. Hats off to the defense and the offense, except for the interceptions, played well.
No doubt. Bubba Rosenbaum from China Grove. I could complain about my drive home, but ladies and gentlemen, he is the road warrior, the Iron Man from China Grove. What was it, 4 hours and 45 minutes back, bro?
Yeah, just shy of 5 hours. And then last night drove back to Raleigh, and then got home mid-afternoon after visiting with friends this morning that I spent the night with. So yeah, 10 hours in the car, a little over 10 hours, but it was worth it. Like I told someone yesterday, actually it was Mark Libiano. I said, whether it's 3-2, 28, 27, 56, 55, whatever, however we find a way, we just need to find a way. And that's pretty much what it was. 4 interceptions. We were very fortunate, not to lose another fumble or 2. Darius Bale came up big, as Johnny Robertson pointed out last night on the 5th quarter call-in show. And, we had the situation before the half that we'll dive into, where we didn't spike it, and that cost us an opportunity.
Offensive linemen have the nerve, the guts, the intestinal fortitude to go under center and try to spike that thing. So hats off to Holton. Gave him a lot of credit, so should we.
Yep.
But despite all that stuff, we found a way to get it done, and that was great to see, obviously.
No doubt. Let's bring in the 90s. The 90s, one of the best linebackers of all time, under Coach Logan, no doubt. And I'm talking about Matt Semenza. Semenza, hey, man, we missed you last night in Norfolk.
Man, that's a very generous opener right there, Dave. I appreciate it, buddy. And Kyle, an NES villain, huh? I like that. I never noticed it. I'll have to take a look.
Indeed.
Wish I was there last night. My thoughts on the game. I have a lot of thoughts on this game, but it's once or twice a year you'll play that type of game where you just want to be able to get out with a win, right? And sometimes it's ugly. And, when you break down the film the next day, you kind of feel a little sick to your stomach. And we're going to really get into that tonight because we left a ton of points on the field, and we really could have opened that game up, to the point where it was a 20 to 24 point win, I think. But listen, at the end of the day, it's a win. And it's like I said, it's just one of those games. You get out of Norfolk with a W, and now you can move on to App State, and hopefully we have a packed house next weekend.
Hey, Matt, we've already I was thinking about this driving home. We've already equaled the number of wins from 2023, so we won't do any worse than 2023. And this Saturday, we can break that win total. We can have more wins than 2023. I know it doesn't take much, but hey, I'm really excited about the game on Saturday at 4:00. Dowdy Ficklin, and let me say this: there's no excuse, as Coach Houston was talking about, and all the players and all behind after the game. They want Dowdy Ficklin rocking. If you say that you're a true Pirate fan, if you're anywhere close to Greenville, Semenza will give you a pass. If you're anywhere close to Greenville, then or take a flight like Semenza can. You can take a flight and be there and be at the game Saturday at 4:00. It's going to be rocking, loud, electric. And I tell you what, by the way, did you guys see how I knew something told me we were going to take the ball first, but I'm glad we did because that gave us 6 points. We should have had 7. That goalpost was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life. What was it like on television, guys? What did it look like as far as the video of that goalpost?
Well, who the hell knows what it looked like?
Okay.
They were shooting they were shooting the game. Somebody said they were shooting the game with an iPhone. BS. My iPhone shoots better than that. They were shooting it with a damn some ghetto track phone from the Dollar General. It was just beyond horrible. The video quality last night. Old Dominion should be ashamed. ESPN needs to look into that. ESPN Plus quality is supposed to be equivalent to television. Anyway, they were talking about the goalpost was bent, and then I heard that the wind wrapped the net around the goalpost. And
correct.
There we go. So I mean, I don't know. It was very strange. The whole situation, and the announcers kept going, well, what happens if somebody has to kick a long field goal? I was like, you idiots! They'll just kick it at the other end, just like they're doing extra points. So, but thankfully, nobody had to do that.
Kyle, I agree,
weird.
man. The production value, I just got to jump in on this one because it was tough to watch that game on TV, man. You know, they couldn't get the down and distance right. You know, the camera was like really jumpy. Like sometimes
the camera got better in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes they would be reviewing the previous play and the next play had already started, so the camera would pick up like midway through the play.
Oh wow.
So it was really, I agree, man, really, really bad production for ODU. It looked like a bunch of like 7th grade kids were running the production team. It was pretty bad.
It was bad when we played up there in 19 also.
Yep.
And I thought, well, in the last 5 years they've gotten this fixed. No, they haven't. It's embarrassing. There's no excuse for it. And like I said, it was a little better in the second half, but not great. And I told somebody if it won an East Carolina game, I'd have turned that off just because of how annoying it was to watch. Being an East Carolina game, obviously I was 100% into it, so I could get past the production, but it was awful. I mean, there is not another ESPN Plus production that is done in-house by the school for football that I've seen that's even close to that bad.
Wow.
Yeah, I was watching UTEP against Southern Utah last night late because Southern Utah pulled off the upset, by the way, on ESPN Plus, and the UTEP announcer literally sounded like he was a UTEP student. I think it might have been a current UTEP student, but their video production was good, so there's no excuse for it.
No, and Bubba was there. The one thing that Matt, you missed out on, Matt, I'm telling you, is Bubba. What I was like about to lose my mind because they had this hype guy, and it was like he was going, "All right, everybody."
Yeah, it was pathetic.
Bubba, you remember last time? Bubba, you remember last time? I'm sorry, Dave. Bubba, you remember last time in 2019? I was watching it on TV, and I said it reminded me of a soccer crowd. Did it come across like an MLS, not a European soccer crowd, but like an MLS soccer game crowd to you?
No. Not even really so much that this time. It was on a few occasions they made some noise, but it was despite being close to full. It was kind of an odd atmosphere outside of the Pirate fans making noise, and then like Dave said, the PA announcer, "Come on, make some noise, ODU." I was like, "Shut up!" I mean,
I'm telling you, Matt.
He had to give them directions on how to cheer, and
then the stalking was going on. They had like the cam in the background. If you're watching, you see the video board behind me. I have a picture up in the background, and so what he's doing, he's like watching the cam, and oh look, there's that guy right there, that Matt Smenza. There's that guy right there. Oh man, he looks like he could take out somebody. You know, he's making comments to the people just sitting there in the. I don't know. I never.
Yeah, that's not a Division I college football atmosphere. That's like minor league baseball. I don't know. I wasn't there, but obviously it's a little surprising to me that their fans don't get more. They draw well. I mean, it was packed last night. I don't understand it, guys. Bubba, you were in the signature. Davis in the press box. Bubba, did it seem more like just people going to an event to watch a game, and they really weren't emotionally invested? Like the maybe not even.
It did seem that way.
Yep.
I do know. You know, I do think they sell a lot of corporate season tickets, so that could be an explanation for that. In addition to just, I don't know, it was you know, kind of an odd atmosphere to say the least. But
and the hype guy, by the way, Matt, he's trying to tell the people about the words to the song "Living on a Prayer," like you've never heard the song before.
Yeah, that's bad.
Well,
that's bad. Yeah, they're
at Dowdy Ficklin, you of course have, you know, we sing "Living on a Prayer." They did have "Don't Stop Believing," but then they also did one of their sing-alongs with the crowd, particularly the student section specifically, was "Ice Cream and Cake."
Cupcake. Oh yeah.
No, it's "Ice Cream and Cake."
That's right.
Ice cream and cake and cake. Ice cream and cake and that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of if somebody has not heard that, then it's very similar to, you know, peanut butter and jelly time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It looked like a pretty.
And the whole student section was doing the dance in unison. But hey, to their credit, that was the most involved they were all night.
Yeah, and the student section was kind of like Boneyard, but it's like if you're looking at watching like the show right now, it's to my left. It was probably Bubba. You think that's about half the Boneyard? Maybe 5,000, 4,000 or 5,000. I don't know. So the whole stadium seats 21,944, I think.
Oh, it's every bit of half the Boneyard.
Well, how was the stadium, Bubba, Dave? In terms of relatively new.
It's nice.
It's nice. I think when they renovated it was approximately 70 million. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, wow.
I think that's correct. That's what I saw this week. But that was the first time I had been to a game there. I'd seen it in the summer of 23 on my way home from Connecticut. But all in all, you know, they did have a nice area. I know Dave walked through the mall, the Kaufman Mall, where they have an organized tailgate, perhaps a band and so forth. They have a fountain similar to the one we have on campus, and that's where the ECU alumni tailgate or Pirate Club tailgate was taking place. And I know the Marching Pirates came through theirs. It's a nice area, and
like a courtyard. It's kind of like Matt. You remember right in front of Joyner Library, that whole like area. It's kind of like looks kind of like that.
Nice.
But how do the guts of the stadium look? How do because our concourse at Dowdy Ficklin looks like utter garbage. That's one thing that I do not like about our stadium. Does their concourse look better?
It looks similar, but it's
because it's new.
Okay, well, you know, paint, some paint, some banners, and some lights would help ours a lot. Looks like when it looks like damn. I don't know. It's way too dark down there. Another thing, did they have latches on all their bathroom stalls?
You know,
to work properly.
I was upstairs in the press box, so it was nice upstairs. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just curious because
like
that's
Justin,
something we need to address.
Like Justin's saying, you know, when you walk in, and Justin says no.
All their doors did not latch properly, just like Dowdy Ficklin. Well, It's a college football problem everywhere.
There's a few missing. That's good stuff, man.
We have them; they just don't latch.
But like you was saying, it says the open concept. So you're on the lower level, and it's kind of like a lot of baseball stadiums that are being built in the last several years, where you can go to the concessions and still have somewhat of a view of the field.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's good.
Matt,
I'll tell you, if you were a fan in that stadium last night or just watching on TV, I mean, if you're the type of fan that loves quality defense, I think you saw 2 quality defenses on the field last night. Got to feel great about East Carolina's defense. But if you're a fan of offensive football, that was an ugly, ugly game to watch. I mean, you saw just about everything. You saw, dropped balls, turnovers, interceptions, miscues, bad O-line play. I mean, you saw a little bit of everything last night. So I just want to give our defense credit, man, because anytime you win a game where your quarterback throws 4 interceptions like that, and those weren't just, ordinary interceptions. Those were back-breaking plays where you're moving the ball down the field. In one case, you're on the 8-yard line about to go in and take a commanding lead, and you throw into double coverage there. And, that is a tough emotional swing for a team from you're about to go into the end zone, and now all of a sudden you turn it over and your defense is back on the field. So got to give props to this defense, man. They seem to be getting better and better. Blake Harrell seems to be in total command right now of what he wants to do defensively. And, we have some guys that can run. I mean, that's one thing I'll say. We don't have the biggest defense, but we have linebackers and safeties and corners that can run. And then that D-line, man, they get after you. So I really like what I see defensively. Obviously, we have a lot to clean up, guys, offensively. And I can only speculate that film room today, it was a long film session, and a lot of guys got chewed out because it was at times very ugly offensively.
Yeah, that by the way, I was telling you, Matt, ahead of time with Garcia, and I asked him in the post game about that very thing. It seems like he's trying to make things happen, and he's got a ton of weapons. This is the most weapons we've had, guys, since maybe last year, Lincoln Riley, maybe 2014. I mean,
it's hard to say. Certainly since 22, but the offense we have puts the weapons more in a position to be utilized.
Yeah.
I got him, man. I think of Holton in this offense. It makes me sick.
Me too.
No, we have a lot of weapons, but it's like Matt pointed out, man, too many offensive mistakes on most of them going to the quarterback. Not all of them, but most of them. Garcia cannot be throwing picks like that. 4 in a game is way too much. The last one in the red zone to do on the attempted passes so well in double coverage. I said, he should have just thrown it away. Bubba, you said that you thought as a quarterback that he could have thrown it to the outside and it would have been a safe throw had he placed it in the right place.
Well, not so much that. Yeah, not so much the outside, but yeah. I think the safest play was clearly to just throw it into the stands out of the back of the end zone there and play second down. But if he wasn't going to do that, then I believe it was Chase Sowell.
It was.
He was 2 yards deep. He had run a little return route when the ball was toward the right hash. He ran in and back out to that 2 yards deep and was double covered. And then there was even a third defender in the area.
Yep.
And if he wasn't going to throw it away, then his only option was to just throw it with some arc, throw it with a little air there to the end line where either Chase can make a great catch or it goes out of bounds. But
just to jump in on that really. Oh, go ahead, Bubba. I thought you were done.
Go ahead if you have something about that one. I was going to address the interceptions in a general sense.
Yeah, just to chime in really quick, because you mentioned the word arc, Bubba, and I think one of the things I see early from Garcia, and we have a pretty decent sample size now. We're 2 games in, so we've seen a little bit, and you can obviously see the arm strength. I mean, this kid's got a cannon for an arm. He can sling it. What I haven't really seen yet from Garcia is the touch, the ability to make the touch pass. And I think that's where he struggles a little bit. And you see it a lot when he's throwing fade routes or just balls out on the perimeter where he doesn't put quite enough arc under it, right, to give his receiver a chance to make a play. And I think that's something he's got to work on a little bit. You know, maybe he's just not quite comfortable in the offense yet, or just, you know, he's not processing quickly enough because everything is so new. We're only 2 games in, but a little more arc on the ball. I think you make a good point, Bubba. That's one thing that I really see, which is leading to some of these bad throws.
And he also, Bubba, I wanted to ask you about, I was talking to Matt pre-show meeting briefly. There were times where you could see, and I know you were diagonal for me, but there were some throws there were overthrows. There were maybe twice where they were at his shoes, the receiver's shoes, where if you have that ball, there's accuracy there. We gave up a lot. There was at least one potential touchdown, and there was some really big X plays we gave up because the accuracy was not there.
Yeah, and as far as the interceptions, obviously we threw 4. 3 of those, in my judgment, were just that, poor decisions. And then you had the one that he sailed over. It was like 3rd and 15, and he sailed it over. I believe it was Desiree Riles' head on a seam route.
Yeah.
But the other 3, including this first one here, with 10 minutes to go in the first half, we had 3rd and 6, balls on the right hash. You had 2 receivers to the top of the screen there, and then you had a single receiver split into the boundary, and then Casey Kelly in a wing. So you had 2 high safeties, right there, 9 yards off the ball pre-snap. And so obviously, like I said, 3rd and 6, he was looking for, I believe it was Winston Wright that was hooking up there, right there at the sticks. But the safety to the field, came down to that hook, as well as the one on the right side into the boundary. And so they were he was double covered, and Anthony Smith was wide open on a post route. And all Jake had to do was just, throw it up toward that right upright and let him run underneath it. But, unfortunately, he threw it into double coverage and resulted in a 45-yard interception return that 2 plays later, was a 45-yard touchdown pass for ODU, where a couple Pirate defenders ran into one another. And then you had the second one, which was the one I referenced, where it was an overthrow. Perhaps not the best decision, but that was at least partially just a bad throw, more so than the decision. And then the third one, a screen pass, rather than throwing it at the running back's feet. I believe it was Rahjai, but he was getting hit and it went straight up in the air.
Oh, God.
Very, very easy pick. And then the fourth one took away points there early in the third quarter. So in that one, that was a real killer because it was on first down. And so you think about that, and then losing the opportunity to get 3 points before the half. You had at least 13 to 17 points that we didn't get that we should have gotten. And you win the game by 14 to 17 instead of 6.
Yeah, no doubt. Bubba, let me ask you this. If you're Caton Hauser and you're sitting on the bench and you were in a battle for starting quarterback, you came here from Michigan State, you started 7 games in the Big Ten, you thought you were going to win the starting job, you're sitting on the bench. Now, there's a rumor of an injury to his wrist. Who knows how much truth there is to that or how bad the injury is. But if you're Caton Hauser and you're sitting there watching him throw interception after interception, despite he does move the ball, he does make plays. The offense moves when he's not throwing interceptions. The only person that stopped Jake Garcia is Jake Garcia. But how frustrated are you if you're Caton Hauser at this point? You were a quarterback, you're like, holy crap, when am I going to get my turn? I mean, how you know, you can put this face of unity on. It's BS. How aggravated does Hauser have to be getting right now?
Like you said, we don't have all the facts, concerning a potential injury to Caton, and then we're not seeing what's going on in practice, but certainly, when you see things not going as well as they could and poor decisions being made, and you believe that you can get the job done. So I'm sure there's some frustration there. I think I can't imagine there not being.
Yeah, if what I understand, Caton's better on the underneath stuff. He doesn't have the arm that Garcia has, but we got playmakers. We need somebody to distribute the ball. And I'm not suggesting. Look, Garcia may go out against App State and not throw a pick. Hell, I'll be happy with give me 2 picks for the game. One in the first half, one in the second half. I mean, so I think Garcia has a lot of potential and has a huge upside, but he's going to have to meet it soon because we're not going to keep getting out of games, throwing 4 picks. We're not going to beat Appalachian State throwing 4 picks unless we shut them out, and I don't see that happening. So
and very quickly, I wanted to go back. I realized I didn't go to that second screenshot. So there's what you had pre-snap. And 1 second later, after the ball snapped, this is what you had where you see there in the middle of the field, you had 2 safeties converging on the route right around the first down marker. But then Anthony Smith at the top of the screen, just outside the left hash, had a step. And if we make a good throw there, it's 6.
Yeah, that's a nice shot there above. I mean, you could see that really opening up. And Anthony Smith, he's impressed me right now. I mean, he has really impressed me. He's got good hands and he can clearly run and he's making plays for us. So yeah, I think that's a good image right there to show that. And it's another example of how many plays we left on the field. But getting back to the quarterback, I mean, I think you guys all make good points. I mean, I don't subscribe to this theory that if you're winning games, like your quarterback threw a bunch of interceptions, but you won the game, so we just ignore that. I don't subscribe to that theory at all. This has to be addressed. And, to Kyle's point, we are not going to beat Appalachian State throwing 3 or 4 picks. It's not going to happen. I'm just telling you right now, it will not happen. Or really any really quality team for that matter. ODU, they don't have the offensive firepower to take advantage, but it has to be cleaned up now. And, a lot of those interceptions were just either bad reads or just kind of careless throws. And that's the part that, you feel like you can get it cleaned up. Now, on the flip side, Garcia will make some really nice throws. And when he flashes his arm strength, I mean, he threw some really nice balls last night at different points of the game. I thought he started off the game pretty sharp. But, listen, in no way, we named Garcia the starter, right? And I wish him all the best in the world. And I hope he plays amazing next week if he's the guy. But it's always going to be the same thing. The best player plays, right? And if Hauser gives us the best chance to win, then we roll with Hauser. It's just that simple. And,
right.
I know a lot of people feel like, hey, we won the game. So yeah, not me. Like, it has to stop because again, had we played App yesterday, we would have lost the game.
Yeah, no doubt. And I know a lot of people see the score of the Appalachian State Clemson game. Look, Clemson's good. Clemson's really good. So App's going to come in here pissed off. And look, we need to pack that out. Dowdy Fickle needs to be packed for App State, as mentioned earlier in the show. But as Holt Naylor said last night on the 5th quarter, he knows Mike Houston pretty well. He doesn't know Coach Baker very well, but he does know Coach Houston. He said Coach Houston and Coach Baker will be having a lot of conversations with Caton Hauser this week, and they will tell him probably to be ready because if this is Holton's words, he said, if he throws a couple of picks in the first half, you're going to see Hauser. And I agree because the crowd will be booing their asses off at that point if he does it against App State next week. Now, you know what? It wouldn't shock me if he comes out and plays his best game as a Pirate next week and doesn't throw a pick against App, or maybe throws 1 pick or something like that. It wouldn't shock me. Because he has the ability, you can see the ability there. But we have all these playmakers, man. he doesn't have to be Joe Montana. So just get it in the kids' heads, let them make plays, and But people are probably going to say we're being too negative after a W. But hey, the defense played well. As we're going to touch on a lot of other things, I just want to ask this before we go any further: are we taking phone calls tonight?
We can if you want to.
Well, I mean, I thought we were going to.
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm just saying we're ready to rock.
All right.
Well, that's the thing. Continuing with some thoughts on Jake Garcia. As frustrating as the 7 interceptions have been, and it's certainly, like Matt said, it's got to change, or it's gonna bite us, even though it hasn't yet. And he's done a lot of great things. And he's completed 65% of his passes. He's thrown for just shy of 600 yards. I think 592 to be exact. And in that first game, he had 4 touchdown passes. And he doesn't hesitate with a lot of decisions, but he's just got to clean up these 4 or 5 poor decisions that are resulting in these turnovers. Also, last night, in addition to the 4 interceptions, I referenced earlier Darius Bell coming up really big with a couple fumble recoveries. One of those was a strip sack on Jake, and the ball kind of pinballed around. We were very fortunate to get it back, and Darius Bell had to dig it out under the pile. So, and I know there was another throw or two that kind of fell to the turf that was nearly picked. So it's something that as the season goes on, has to change. But there's also an awful lot of good with Jake Garcia, because otherwise we would have already seen the change.
Yeah, and guys, I want to make a point too, is the fact that I told Matt I want to get his opinion. I didn't ask you guys, but I'll say it now for the whole world. Is the very fact that last year we were struggling and we didn't have talent at quarterback. This year there's struggles, growing pains, if you will. But the difference is we have talent at quarterback, and these are things that you can correct the mistakes. But last year you couldn't correct the fact that our quarterbacks just didn't have the talent at the D1 level.
Yeah, no doubt. And the mistakes are correctable. But my fear with Garcia's fix is tape gets out on him more and more. Our defense is just going to start putting pressure on him like crazy because to try to make him throw picks. So I don't know. We'll see in the coming weeks. But again, glad to get the win. The defense played extremely well. I feel like we're harping on the negative, and it needs to be talked about. But a lot of positives to take away from last night, and most of the positives was the defense. The last drive of the game, Bubba, where we offensively we went super conservative, which again, I don't like that we had to do that. I don't think we felt confident in letting Jake throw it there, which ain't a good thing. And but the defense, great job by the punter, by the way. Luke Larson's done well this year. Playing some deep, and great job by the D line. I did not like the call on 4th and 10 to go to prevent. Thought that was a mistake. The game would have been over with right there, and we would have had the ball down at like the 1 yard line and could have stuck it in for another score. Either took a knee, but they get the first down. But the defense kept coming. The D line was dominant on that last drive, and I text Bubba. I said 1 sack and it's over. And about the time I text that, we got the sack and it was over. And so hats off to the defense. The defense deserves the game ball. The whole damn defense.
Yeah, that 4th and 10 on their own 9, that was far too easy. We were way too soft there, and made it easy on their quarterback. But one other thing I wanted to point out as far as Jake Garcia in the second half, he did step up there 2 or 3 minutes into the half, and I think it was a similar situation where it was 3rd and 6. We had a couple of stop routes or hook routes, and those guys were covered, but Marlon Gunn was wide open. He checked it down to him, and Marlon ended up picking up 29 yards just on a simple check down. Made a heck of a run.
Yeah, more of that. We have playmakers. That's what I keep saying. Just get the ball out of your hand into the playmakers' hands. Let them make plays. Dave, we got any comments from people that we should be putting up on the screen? Anybody saying anything interesting?
Yeah, we got. In fact, thank you guys so much. Huge audience. It's so many comments coming in. We'll try to get as many as we can. Mentioned that to Bubba just a few minutes ago because he can tell you there is tons and tons and tons of great Pirates. And, guys, that's what happens when you go 2-0. The first time in the Mike Houston era, first time in a long time that we've been 2-0. You have to go way back for 3-0. I think it's 2008. The last time.
You going to put them on the screen, Dave?
What's that?
The comments.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, they're like I said, they're coming. They're so. Yeah, let's go back. I know Monica had a great question about, and let me see if I can go back there just a second. Like I said, there's been a whole bunch coming in left and right. She had a question about basically about if the interceptions, I'm paraphrasing what she said, if there's interceptions that keep happening, do you bench Garcia?
Yeah, well, we've talked about that ad nauseum.
Let's see what else. Okay, here's one. Elliot talks about how about the time management prior to halftime?
Oh God, yeah, take that, Matt.
Happy to talk about this one because listen, we're always fair on this show, right? I think we're fair. We call it as we see it, and that's what I like about the show. That was a horrendous execution there. It was poor coaching there. I mean, you can't execute like that going into halftime. Let's kind of just break it all down, right? I mean, we're moving the ball, right? There's about 30 seconds left before halftime. We had burned all of our timeouts, right? So in that situation, what you need to do is you need to get up on the line and you need to have some urgency and some pace about you. No urgency whatsoever. First of all, that was my first thought that I was really shocked by the lack of urgency. Everybody's kind of taking their time. I mean, that's where, as a quarterback, you need to be in total command and literally screaming, get to the ball, get to the ball. So a complete lack of urgency. And then, we have a nice pass down to, it might have been like the 4-yard line, 5-yard line, whatever it was, right about that spot.
Yep.
At that point, what happened was, we have half the team thinking we're going to come up and spike the ball. The other half is running the field goal team on the field.
But somebody should
really
have been
bad execution, guys. Like that's like JV stuff. So that was really disturbing to me to see. Now, what I do is I get up to the line. I'm going to clock it. I'm going to spike the ball, right? Stop the clock, and then bring my field goal team on the field. And maybe you have 2 seconds left to kick the field goal. It's really not that hard. I was surprised we botched it that bad. That was embarrassing.
Houston said that was the plan, and it would be practice this week, that we should have clocked the ball and brought the field goal out. Look, there's a call. I think Logan called it white field goal, didn't he, Matt? So
yeah,
there's a call there for that, and it was the special teams coach screaming that call. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that happens, but it's bad. It should not have happened. We should have at least got 3 points there. Well, we would have kicked the field goal, but you could have spiked it, took a chance, and threw it to the end zone. But we'd have kicked the field goal, took the 3 points, and went in the halftime. But there's 3 more points off the board. So that was bad. That was inexcusable, like Matt said, and that'll be fixed in practice. But that should have already been fixed. I don't know how that happens. Bubba, you got any more thoughts on that?
Well, the thing is, we had exhausted all of our timeouts and getting the ball back. So, I mean, you knew that situation that unfolded was very possible. So that's something you should have been. And I know they certainly have worked on that in practice. I feel certain, but it's just one of those things in the heat of battle, we fell shy, and it was embarrassing, just hard to, like Coach Houston said post game. Just fortunately, we were able to get out of there, because if we'd have lost that game, thinking about the pick in the end zone, and then that situation, as well as some other things, that we'd have really been kicking ourselves.
Think about this, guys. You had that's a great point, Bubba and Matt. I'm going to go back to what you said earlier. So you have the literally the the interception in the end zone, right? They go down and score. So there's 6 you don't get or 7, and then they have the 7 they get. So there's a big swing there. You have the field goal you miss. You have you also have the extra points you miss. Plus, you do you remember the wasn't there was it a punt return that they called back?
Yeah, on them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another. What I'm saying is, if they don't have a block in the back or whatever, that's another.
There was 2 blocks in the back when I play. They were
right.
obvious. They were obvious.
Well, by my count, guys, and I went back and watched it today, I counted, and I was being conservative, 24 points that we left on the field last night. That game didn't have to be close. It really, look, I'm thrilled to get the win. I don't want to sound, I'm thrilled to get the win. Like I said earlier, you got to win and get out of there. But when your goals are bigger, when your goals are to compete for a conference championship, and when you have bigger goals, you have to evaluate all of this. So it's not so much being critical. It's just looking at the big goal. And we left 24 points on the field last night, guys. That game did not have to be close. It didn't.
No, that game should have been minimum, 27 13, or it could have easily been 31-7. I mean, that game could have been a complete blowout, and we could be sitting here talking mad trash about how we're going to beat the dog crap out of App State. But as it is, we hope we're going to beat App. App opened as a 1-point favorite, by the way. I think it's grown to 2 or 3, but I expect it to hold there. They just clocked the ball before throwing the pass to the 4-yard line. Yeah. Or
I mean,
yes.
in that situation, I mean, you're out of timeouts. The clock's going to stop on the first down until they wind it. So all 11 guys on the field have to sprint, get set, clock it, and then, like Matt said, you have a second or 2 left to kick the field goal and go in up 9-7 instead of down 7-6.
Yeah, and another thing, Matt, I wanted to ask you, because we were talking all last year about good teams find a way to win. Do you feel? I know it's an early sample size of 2 games, but there were games last year. We talked about that ad nauseum. Not to bring up last year, but I'm just making a point of how last year there's games that we should have won, we didn't. This year, even though we're not playing our best, not at nearly the ceiling that this team potentially has. I know it's on paper early, but do you see it where, I mean, for me, I just, how do you feel? I was going to ask you that.
Look, I mean, I think last year that's a game we probably would have blown. So I think that's a positive point. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, we right now we are very fortunate to be able to lean on, in my opinion, our best defense in years, right? So you can make up for mistakes with that defense, because this front 7 is really good.
Also the offense, man, I don't mean to cut you off, but
yeah, it's all right.
The offense did help, even with all the dumb turnovers. We controlled time of possession last night, and we moved the ball up and down the field, so the defense was able to stay fresh. The offense didn't do that for the defense very much last year. So even if you don't finish with a touchdown in these drives, if you just don't turn the friggin' ball over, that helps the defense so much.
Oh, no point. I mean, that's a great point, Kyle. And then
no point. Thank you, Matt.
Hey, Kyle, that's an excellent point. I mean, but so you take that, and then you throw in the fact that we have increased depth this year. We're rolling guys in and out. You saw guys like Jaden McKenzie, the transfer from Ohio State. I think he got 18 snaps on the D line last night. You saw Surad Ware come in off the bench and make some big plays. So that depth definitely helps you. And I thought sometimes last night, Mike Houston and John David Baker wanted to run the ball a little bit more to give our defense some extra time on the sideline. I do think they were trying that. Yep. I think they were really trying to lean on the defense. But yeah, I mean, last year I think that's a game we probably lose. But I'll lean on. I'm staying with this regardless. This might sound. We talked a lot about some of the negatives tonight. I think this is a very, very talented team. I think we have talented receivers, talented tight ends, talented running backs. we just have to put it all together.
Right.
And that's what's going to beat an App State. It can't just be the defense. It's got to be special teams. It's got to be the offense. Everybody playing together. That's what it's going to take to win next week.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of along those lines of what Matt's saying. Time of possession yesterday, 32-47 for the Pirates, 27-13 for Old Dominion. And, we talked about it going in, how there would likely be more combined possessions between the two teams than total points for the winner. And that was the case. 14 possessions for East Carolina, 13 for Old Dominion, and obviously we had 20 points. So there you go. 7 more total possessions than points for East Carolina. And then you did have the drive that unfortunately resulted in the interception in the end zone. That was our longest drive of the season. And as far as in terms of time, 13 plays, 71 yards, 5 minutes and 17 seconds. That was a heck of a drive. And then you throw the pick in the end zone on first down. That made it all the more frustrating. ECU ran 89 plays in the game. 26 first downs, 12 out of 22 on third down. Excellent on third down conversions. Meanwhile, we held Old Dominion just 5 out of 16 on third down. 466 yards for ECU, 287 for the Monarchs. 283 passing, 183 rushing. But as Matt and I were discussing last night after the game, we had, I think, 85 of those 183 yards were on 2 carries. So you had 49 rushes for 98 yards. And obviously that's not anywhere near good enough, just 2 yards per carry. And that, of course, is taking into consideration the 3 times that Jake Garcia was sacked, which and then there were also multiple other pressures of Jake.
Guys, we got a whole bunch of people chiming in. In fact, Johnny Stats, what's up, JR? He's got a great one, guys. This is the first time the Pirates have held their first 2 opponents to 17 or fewer points since 1976. That's pre-Pat Dye, guys.
Yeah. Our is that pre-Pat Dye?
Yep, 77 when he came in.
Okay. Our defense is awesome.
74.
That's pre my life. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah, Pat was there in 77.
74.
That's pre Kyle. That's pre Bubba.
Yeah, but Pat was there in 77. So, but yeah, great. We're all talking over each other. Great job by the defense. Unbelievable. So, any other comments we need to put up? And are we going to take phone calls? We can take phone calls. The number was on the screen earlier. It's been taken down. Dave, do you want to give the number?
Yeah, 252-290-0375. And guys, here's a question from Elliot. I think it's going to be the first half. He's asking about the player that was thrown out for targeting. Will he be able to play at all in the App State game? They missed the first. You'll miss the first half, right?
If he was thrown out, if that was in the first half, he'll be able to play in the game. If it was in the second half, he'll miss the first half of the game.
I think it was in the second half, correct? Do I have that right? I think it was.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
It seems like it, Matt.
Yeah.
I think it was the third quarter. It was Kingston McKinstry was the player that was DQ'd.
If it was third quarter, he'll miss the first half of App State.
Yeah. So,
and here's
as far as individual performances, Rahjai Harris, the 63 and 22-yard touchdown runs, the 22-yarder on the first drive of the game, heck of a drive, and then the 63-yarder. That was on the opening drive of the second half, if I'm not mistaken. You had third down and 13 on the minus 38, and nice call there by JDB. And for some reason, the Old Dominion safety that was into the boundary just darted toward the field on the snap, and then that really only left a couple of guys that can make the play for ODU. They had one backer in the box, and he kind of stepped up, and Darius Bell just got in his way, and then the other guy was so wide that by the time, he tried to make the play about 5-6 yards down the field, Rahjai was by him and took it to the house. So Rahjai, 26 carries, 131 yards, the 2 touchdowns. Yep. Marlon Gunn, 10 carries, 31 yards, and then also had the nice 29-yard reception on the check down. Javius Bond, who we're waiting to see exactly what his status will be this week. Good news is, he was celebrating with the team in the locker room. Looked as though he may be jumping around a bit. So, fingers crossed that Javius will be able to play against the Mountaineers. And Winston Wright, how about we talked about how he needed more touches. We thought those touches would happen. He had 7 receptions in the game for 66 yards. And those came in a variety of ways, on screen passes, on shallow crosses or crossers, had a long reception of 25 yards, returned 3 kickoffs, and then also had a 6-yard run on a jet sweep. So great to see him get 11 touches in the game.
All right, guys, we get some questions and comments real quick. This is a question maybe you guys can help out. Brad said, why didn't we try to gain a first down on our last possession of the fourth quarter? A first down goes a long way towards winning the game.
No, I think we did. We just tried to do it on the ground. I go back to where we scared to let Garcia throw it because he was so pick happy. And if that's the case, then he doesn't need to be in the game. If you're scared to let your quarterback throw the ball in that situation, then you don't need to let him in the game. Now, was it just because we trusted our defense so much? I don't know. There's 2 schools of thought there, but when you're up by 6, you definitely don't want to put it back in the offense's hand. Very conservative play call, handing it off. We were trying to pick up a first down, just trying to do it on the ground. And we weren't going to do it on the ground in that situation. So were they scared to let Garcia throw it? Were they scared he was going to turn it over? If so, that's concerning to me. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and just to chime in on that, Brad, that's an awesome point. Great question. I think the 2-minute warning now in college football has really changed this whole dynamic of how you coach this. I think the good news of the way we handled it by running the ball there, we forced App to use their final 2 timeouts. Right?
ODU.
I'm sorry, ODU. My bad. I'm already thinking ahead.
Me too.
We forced them to use their final 2 timeouts, which was great, right? So in the past, that clock just keeps running. But now with this 2-minute warning that's been brought into college football, it's as good as a timeout. So that I would have liked to be. There's 2 schools of thought, and the first one is I think Mike Houston maybe just wanted to lean on his defense, and it did work out in this case where your defense comes back on the field and you win a game. The other school of thought is you be a little more aggressive and really throw the ball a little bit, try to get a first down. Right. And then you put that game away. That game is done. 1 first down, it's over, even with the 2-minute warning. So, I think what we need to do in these situations is run Garcia a little more. We were pounded in between the tackles all night. Just pull it a few times and try to let him get out on the perimeter and get some yardage. I think that's a pretty safe play too. But another one of those situations, it worked last night again because the defense was just fantastic.
Hey, by the way, while we have a chance, Robert Dedrick says, I'll donate $5 to Team Boneyard for every like during this live stream. So get a lot of likes out there. That means more.
Yeah, $5 to Team Boneyard for every. So just start hitting like. Just click the like button over and over again. Everybody watching.
Let's make Robert pay a lot of money.
Robert, we don't. I don't know when you commented this, but we don't get it posted until towards the end of the show. We should have got that up on the screen earlier. I don't know when he commented that, but
a few minutes ago.
Well, yeah. Start hitting like if you
4 minutes ago.
Yeah, let's get it going.
Hey Dave, I got one of my high school teammates with a comment here. Michael D'Ambrosio. How about that? Big Mike.
Big Mike. He says if they were scared to throw it, then run a screen, safe play, and it keeps clock running with potential. Mike, that's a great point there. Yeah. No doubt.
You would think so. We'd already had a screen intercepted though.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Harking back to South Carolina.
Remember this, guys. always remember this: when you play not to lose, you lose. So you got to.
Let's go back to that last play where we almost picked. It was 4th and 1, and we could have picked. What the hell was happening with that snap? Nobody's talked about that. Was that an intentional direct snap to Rahjai, or was it a bad snap that Rahjai just got his hands on? I don't think anybody knows.
That was the next to last possession, and I have not had a chance to go back and watch that yet. But according to my dad watching it live, he thought it was a mistimed snap. And Dustin Hall snapping it before Jake Garcia was ready for it, and that Rahjai did an excellent job of preventing it from going down toward our goal line.
Now, is he thinking that just because Rahjai and Jake was looking at the sideline, could that have been part of the play to catch him off guard? So I'm not so sure if that was intentional.
Was that trick play? Is what I thought.
And like you're saying, Kyle, that's why I want to see it because like you're saying, when that's run, then that's obviously how those guys are handling it to make it
early.
Yeah, to sell it.
Yeah, well, so he's saying it snapped early. Luke Dover, right? Again, Jake Garcia wasn't paying attention, but it's that part. Was that deception? Well, that's what we're trying to. Was he literally not paying attention?
And Brad thinks that it was a trick play. Kind of like we were doing last year against Tulsa.
Well, it didn't work, so stop it. We've tried it twice now. Don't do it again. So again, if anybody wants to call in, it's getting late in the show, but if you want to call in and get your voice heard rather than just commenting digitally, you can call 252-290-0375, 252-290-0375. Dave will answer your phone, put you on the air. You can be live on the Sports Objective. It will be the thrill of your life.
And by the way, don't forget, Robert is giving $5 for every like to Team Boneyard.
I want to say something. Last night, I spoke with a member of Pirate Media. I can tell you, anybody who didn't like that third down song on the money down, the first home game, that is done. That will not be reappearing for the Appalachian State game. I'm not sure what we're using yet. I made a suggestion that if they want to keep that theme of the money down, and so we'll see if it gets used. I'm personally, I say bring back the Undertaker music with the ARG. But if not, I like my idea, and I think my idea that I passed along, if they use it, I think if they didn't tell the players and that song comes over the loudspeakers on third down with the money down concept, I think the players will pop. So we'll see what happens.
Get a cash register going, right?
That's their whole thing. Is the money down, and if you guys were paying attention to the group text, I sent y'all my suggestion, and it's way better if they want to use that concept than what they were using.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, Brandon's been asking. We'll get this question in. Do you guys think we'll have 51,000 next week, like Houston said? He said it'll be very disappointing if it's not.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't think as many App State fans will come. I still think we'll have a good amount of App State fans show up. But I don't think I was expecting 5,000 maybe App State fans. It'll probably be more like 2,500, 3,000, I would think. And who knows? There might not have been that many anyway because they're making the trip to Clemson. I think we'll have over 45,000. But no, I don't expect a 51,000 sellout. I hope so. I think it's possible. We're 2-0. And App's a huge opponent. It's going to be electric in there. I think the student section will be sold out, but no, I don't think we'll have 51, but I do think we'll have well over 45.
I'm going to say like 48. I agree with you, Kyle. I think it's going to be close, but unfortunately, that's the thing that what people don't understand when you have losing seasons. I'm not talking about last year. I was thinking about this afternoon. You have 2016, 17, 18, and then last year. That takes a toll on the fan base, and I'm not rehashing it. I'm just saying from the standpoint of when you want to have a whole bunch of people, you lose a lot of momentum, and we need the butts in the seats because of the dollar signs, of the money that is brought into our department and for the athletics. And
Matt, duck your head below the logo.
I know Bubba there he goes. I think Bubba's phone probably cut out, and then really quick, guys, just to jump back. I mean, we talked a lot about just sort of the unforced errors and some of the mistakes yesterday. I want to give some credit to ODU too. I mean, as Kyle has been on this all summer, that's a pretty solid opponent. ODU controlled the line of scrimmage against South Carolina last week. For anybody who watched that game, they fundamentally beat South Carolina last week on both sides of the ball. They lost the game because they made some turnovers. But, they controlled an SEC team. That team can play defense, and they create challenges. They're very aggressive. They blitz from all angles, bring a lot of pressure. They have some unorthodox looks scheme-wise. You look what South Carolina did yesterday. I mean, then they go into Kentucky and just manhandle the Wildcats. So, ODU is no slouch. So I just want to point that out too. So look, I feel personally like I've been kind of harping on the things to correct, but again, it's a great win yesterday. I'm happy to have it.
No doubt.
And when you're looking ahead to App State, we've had 2 straight losses to them. And I tell you what, guys, don't think that Mike Houston and company, I know JDB wasn't here, but there's a lot of people that they're ready to play App State because I think we finally have a team that really can compete, and not only with App State, I'm just talking about as a whole. And I tell you what,
if you go back to the offseason, anytime you ask any player, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, what game they were looking forward to was App State.
Absolutely.
So this game is circled. We need a moment. We hadn't had very many big moments with Dowdy Ficklin over the last several years, Bubba. You got UNC in 2018. You got UCF and Memphis, the 4-overtime game in 22. So not a lot of big moments in Dowdy Ficklin over the last several years. This would be one. I think for the students, this would be their NC State, UNC type moment. These students only know Appalachian State as a group of 5 power in a football, a great football program that's kicked East Carolina's tail. They don't know any different. These students don't know any different. They don't know any 1AA Appalachian State. So for the students, this is going to be a big deal. For the whole fan base, this everybody needs to embrace this, and I think more and more of our fan base, even the older fans, are starting to embrace this rivalry and take it for what it is, man. If we win this game, I'm going to celebrate it like it's a win over NC State or UNC. One, because Appalachian State has that good of a football program, and if you just think because they're not in the ACC that it's not a great in-state win, then you're just doing what NC State and UNC do to us. This is a football program that's been beating South Carolina and UNC and Texas A&M while we've been over here beating ourselves. So I'm looking forward to this game. To me, this game is huge. I think, Pirate Nation needs to show up. Be nice to have 51,000. I think we'll have well over 45,000. But this is a huge game. Bubba, I know how you feel about it. You living in the western part of the state. You're close to the App State program. You have friends there. What will this game mean to you personally if we can find a way to beat the Mountaineers Saturday in Dowdy Ficklin?
Obviously be huge, especially after the last 2 losses, and both of which, were right around 2 touchdowns, but they were clearly the better team in each of those matchups. So, really hope we can come out and get a big win on Saturday.
Man, let me give Bubba some props right now, man. Let me just give Bubba some props really quick. Bubba, all right, he goes to the game last night. He drives
the show as you give him props.
Just as he drops, and now my face is covered. But I'm going to move to the side here. How about this? Bubba drives, right? What, 5 hours to the game last night?
Might as well, yeah.
He gets about 3 hours of sleep. He's up at like 8 o'clock this morning, literally breaking down film on the game. I don't know if there's a better fan out there than Bubba. So, on like 3 hours of sleep, he's breaking down film at 8 in the morning. So, and I know Bubba's probably exhausted right now. I can hear it in his voice. He's running on.
You can tell, yeah.
He's running on fumes, man.
Yeah, Bubba does not hide tired well.
Dave, can I get that thing off my face by some chance?
I don't think he heard you.
He's probably taking calls or something.
Dave. Matt wants the thing off his face. He does not want a face tattoo. But we'll continue. I don't know if Dave's taking a call and somebody's gonna be live on the air here in a moment. But Matt, what will it mean to you, man? How are you embracing this Appalachian State rivalry at this point? I know you guys didn't play them when you were here.
Oh, I'm fully embracing it. And, I was slow to come around to it, Kyle. I was slow to kind of embrace app as a rival. It used to bother me a little bit when people call them a rival, but I've fully come around to that. And this is a program, you have to give them respect. I mean, look what they've done over the last 15 years. Everybody knows about Michigan, obviously. That's the easy one to point to. But they've done so. I mean, I remember them going up about 5 years ago into Penn State against a really good Penn State team.
Yeah.
Going into overtime, they lost. But, I mean, a lot of big wins over the years. And when they do lose, they're right there. Now, so what I really like about App State and respect about them is that they created an identity offensively, a scheme that's kind of unique. It's the zone stretch, the outside zone stretch with play action off of that, and it gives people fits. And it's something we haven't been able to stop yet, right? Like we've really struggled to stop it. Even last year, they ripped off like a 65-yard touchdown on a zone stretch. So
yeah.
We, as good as our defense played, they're going to listen. This is a huge task for them to finally be able to get over this hump where we can stop that offense. And so, yeah, Kyle. I mean, long-winded answer, but I fully embrace the rivalry now. This is an excellent team.
Hey guys, we got a caller. If you can hear me.
All right. Yep, we can hear you.
All right, we've got Will from Wrightsville Beach. Will, go ahead.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
All right,
yes,
go ahead.
we can hear you.
All right, good. Hey guys, I'm doing all right tonight. I've been for a while and just wanted to call in and appreciate everything you guys do. Like, I really appreciate you guys, like the insights on everything. I talk about it with my wife, but she can only take so much on a day in and day basis. But I guess the question I have is, and Matt kind of touched on this earlier, for as good as Harold's been for us on defense, it seems the last two times I played App, they really kind of gouged with the stretch plays, outside zone, and they seem to go to the top. And I was just curious, Matt, being a linebacker and Bubba play, like what you're looking for out of Harold, try to go, try to lock down a little bit, try to, get some of the big plays. I'll just stand by and like I said, appreciate everything you guys do.
All right. Yeah, man. Yeah. Thanks for the call. Great question. I mean, it's tough to stop it, but I think what you have to do is you have to have great gap integrity. Your defensive line needs to hold their position or get into whatever gap it is that they're going to. And then your linebackers have to fill those gaps and not get picked off. You saw last year on that, when they gashed us on an outside stretch, one of our linebackers, our middle linebacker, kind of got washed out and it just opened wide up. And so it takes gap integrity. Your linebackers have to be in position, but you have to win matchups up front too. I mean, it always comes back to that. And like, I'd be curious to watch the Clemson game yesterday, Will, to see what they did so successfully and just, kind of manhandling App, because clearly whatever they did worked.
Yeah, and I would imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, for our safeties playing down against the run on that outside zone, you got to be careful that you don't get beat on the play action off of that. And, you're playing the run in that, but then you also got to be ready for they're going to play action at some point and try to hit you over the top.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think they got us on one of those too, if I recall. Bubba's got the memory. He remembers everything, but I'm pretty sure they got us on one of those. But yeah, you make a great point. I mean, if you start getting a little nosy from the safety position, you could get in trouble.
Don't you mean a little Jeff Carsey?
A little Jeff Carr.
I was on mute. Yeah, my man Jeff Carr. It's a little inside joke between me and Jeff Carr.
Oh. Yeah, I tell you what, guys. Do you have any keys of the game this week? Early, I know we'll have our preview coming out this week. Appreciate. We've had a lot of people.
I got one. Dave. Okay. Don't throw interceptions.
That's yours. All right.
That's mine.
Matt, what's yours? Or Bubba?
You go ahead, Bubba.
What exactly was the question? I didn't hear.
Early,
a key to beating App State, an early key.
Yeah. Got to take care of the football. That's the obvious thing. But also just, much like App and with Georgia defeating Clemson 34-3, they knew they were going to get Clemson's best effort going into that matchup yesterday, and they certainly did that, and then some. I fully expect a very focused, and just pointed effort by App State. I just think that we're going to have to clearly play the best we've played to take care of business.
Yeah, by the way, guys, here's an alum of the Sports Objective, Brendan Shapiro. Hey, guys, anyone know the process behind buying single game tickets for this weekend's game? Yeah, Brendan, you can go on ecupirates.com. You can click on buy tickets, and they have like the individual games, or you can just simply call 1-800-DIAL-ECU, and that will get you the tickets.
Well, I think what Brendan's probably asking is Pirate Club priority is over for that. Pirate Club priority for single game tickets is over. So it's open to the general public, Brendan. So if you're, by the way, Brendan, if you're not a Pirate Club, why aren't you? Why aren't you a Pirate Club member? Join now. It's not too late. But no, you don't have to be a Pirate Club member. Just go to ECUPirates.com, like Dave said, or call 1-800-ECU. And hey, while you're at it, join the Pirate Club.
And by the way, get some likes going for, well, let's see how many likes we can get. So Robert has to donate. Every like is $5 to Team Boneyard. And let's get that going. You guys like to win? NIL is where it's at, baby. That's the new thing. That's the new generation. Whether you're old school like me.
So right now we're at $75.
$75. All right.
Well, let's hit like. Hit like.
Yeah, let's see if we can get 100.
But yeah, going back to, that's what App State. That's just a very atypical performance. Like, I thought Clemson would win the game, but I thought it would be something along the lines of 34-13, right. 35-17. I thought it would be very close to that spread that was 16.5, 17, 17.5, depending on which sports book you look. But it's 35-0, and Clemson had 350 yards at the end of the first quarter, and they're just big plays galore. Over 500 yards in the first half, and Cade Klubnik at halftime was something like 24 out of 26 for 380 or 85 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns. That was a team on the mission. All they had heard was how Dabo needs to be fired, how Cade Klubnik was not the answer at quarterback. And, that it's just one game, but they certainly answered the critics in a resounding way last night.
No doubt.
Yeah. Can you imagine being such a spoiled fan base like Clemson where you actually want to fire Dabo? Good Lord.
Yes.
Talk about good problems to have in life.
Right.
But yeah, Bubba, I agree with you. That is not a typical performance. You're going to get App. Just like, hey, when teams have a terrible performance like that, they get beat up in the film room all week by their coaches, right? They get beat up on the field. Their fan base is telling them they suck. You're challenging a group of men, right? They're going to be ready to go. And you saw that with South Carolina. I keep going back to the South Carolina example. All week long, people said, you guys are terrible. How are you going to win in the SEC? You can barely beat ODU, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Matt, you're breaking up.
Yeah.
But to hit to Matt's point, what he was going to say is App State's going to be hearing the same thing all week that South Carolina was hearing after the ODU game. They got blistered by Clemson, and App State's a proud football program with good tradition. They're used to winning, so we're going to get their best shot. But here's the thing: we need to give them our best shot.
Right?
They've beaten up Matt. He's disappeared. Matt App has beaten us the last 2 times we played them convincingly. They're coming into our house. We need to give them our best shot. And here's something for you guys. It's going to make you feel old and show you how fast time flies. It's been 10 years since that UNC game in 2014.
Yep.
The We Want 80 game, and we scored 70 and all that. It's been 10 years. It's, I'm not suggesting we're going to put 70 on App, but it'd be nice to get a nice, whether it be 1 point or 10 points, however many point win, it don't matter. We need a win like that at home. We need to beat App State. They're going to be ready. after getting dogged by Clemson. They're going to give us their best shot, but we damn sure need to give them our best shot. This is Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium. This is our house. App's not going to be intimidated by that at all. They just went to Death Valley. They've won at Texas A&M. They are not going to be intimidated by coming to Dowdy-Ficklen. But we need to have a home field advantage. We need to have that place rocking, and we need to be just as pissed off as they are. And you know what? We're going to get beat up in film study this week, at least on offense.
No doubt.
Hey,
I'm sure today was a rough one. I'm sure today was like a 4-hour rough film session.
Hey, Kyle, this is for you. This is good news for Kyle. You guys ready? Justin Butt said, "Oh, did you tell Kyle I have tickets to sit with him JDB at the Charlotte game? Said he can run the first offensive series. LOL."
I'll tell you what. That's a good. That's a good decision on JDB's part. I will call excellent plays. It'll be great.
Bolo, be on the lookout for our YouTube channel, because I'll tell you why. That's going to be classic Kyle if he gets to ride in the Queen Anne's Revenge with Justin. Can you imagine that, Kyle on the road? Matt, what do you think? Don't you think that'll be classic Kyle?
With Kyle in the team truck with Justin?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That would be like
I don't know where this came from. I don't.
Kyle would be like the snowman.
Yeah,
I will be like the snowman. Snowman, and and I said that Justin would be Frog.
Frog. Frog. Oh, that's great. That's great.
He said he already has it. Hey, he already has it approved.
What was the dog's name from? There was a dog.
Oh, Fred.
Fred. Yeah.
Fred. That was Snowman's dog. Fred. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see a picture of that, of Kyle in the equipment truck with Justin.
That would be. Come on, Kyle. I'm the one that I jokingly said it to Justin like a couple months ago, and he took the ball and ran with it. No pun intended.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, it's riding in a semi. I don't get the joke. I mean, I don't get it.
Because you're on the road, you're joking. You're always joking around. Somebody has a GoPro or some kind of camera on Kyle, and
yeah. Okay.
I guess the whole time
Charlotte. I mean, I don't. I mean, it's not that far.
Yeah,
I mean, we take a cross country trip. I don't. Do
what? You got some Biff jokes? I mean, you can talk trash.
Biff Posey. Well, I hear he's wearing shirt sleeves now. I didn't watch any of the UNC Charlotte game or University of North Carolina Charlotte game. Good God, you can't say that right. Sounds like you're talking about them playing themselves. The Chapel Hill versus Charlotte game. I didn't watch any of that, so I don't know if he wore sleeves or not in Chapel Hill. I think sleeves are required in Chapel Hill. So he probably did.
You have to wear a sweater vest on the side.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, maybe he wore no sleeves and a sweater vest. That'd be awesome. Maybe just a sweater vest with nothing else under it.
Like Wimbledon, they make you wear white, and in Chapel Hill, you have to wear a sweater vest. It's a requirement.
Awesome. I can believe that. I like sweater vests. I think it's a good
look. I don't have anything wrong with it.
No.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. That would be cool. In fact, Justin said he rode back in the Queen Anne's last night. All right.
Justin, what can we do
fun
to get diecast? What can we do to get diecast of the Queen Anne's Revenge? I know that's nothing really to do with you or your dad. That's going to be more coming from ECU, but I think this would sell really well. I'm a diecast collector. Maybe I'm biased there, but I think even people that don't collect diecast would enjoy that. In fact, I've often wondered why there isn't a whole line of college haulers. Somebody's missing the boat there. They're one of these diecast companies from M2 or Hot Wheels or Revell or name a diecast company. Johnny Lightning. Somebody needs to do that.
Purple lights on the Queen Anne's look great, and I tell you what, you could maybe give money to NIL, Team Boneyard. Hey, Team Boneyard.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, we can buy those, and hell, just if nothing else, give them away. So it's money going to Team Boneyard. But I would think that would be a cool gift. Christmas around the corner,
I'd love to have one.
There you go. Our friends at Team Boneyard. How many likes do we have, Bubba? We're getting ready to get out here, but I'm trying to get it where we have at least the goal was, I think we said $100. So where are we now, Bubba? Do you know? You're the numbers guy. How many likes do we have? Or anybody let us know out there. But appreciate Robert with that. That was generous of him to do that. That challenge. It's like a telethon. It's a radiothon. It's a challenge there. He puts out a challenge for all Pirate fans to like, and he'll give $5.
There you go. So we know we're up to 75. At least we were a few minutes ago. I'm sure it's higher than that now. So however many likes we have, Robert, appreciate that.
Bubba just texted me, Kyle. He said whatever we raise, he's going to match it and then double it.
Oh, man.
There you go, Bubba. All right. So whatever we raise, Bubba is
Wow.
matching and doubling. That is fantastic. Thank you, Bubba, for that generous contribution. So we know that Bubba's at least in for.
And Matt said whatever I match, he's going to triple.
Oh,
well,
my
Matt's got it. Matt's got it. Matt's
So we're
got
up to
it.
900 now. I guess we're up to 900.
Wow.
Where we're at?
900 likes?
No. We're up to like $900 tonight.
Oh, there you go, Matt. Well, you know, you guys have said this crap live on the air. So you kind of got to follow through with it now.
Okay. Hey, Justice says he'll double whatever Bubba gives.
There you go.
I was giving like a few hundred. Then that means, Justin, you have to give 600. We're going to have a lot of money.
You guys are saying all this live on the air, guys. I'm just saying.
We hold people accountable now. We do. So Bubba, you can't.
I'm
right now we got the
accountable, and notice I haven't said a damn word.
Well, I have it here in writing from Bubba. He just texted me, so it's good. We're gotta make sure he follows through on that one. And Justin, we have the proof on video, brother.
Yeah, he's laughing out loud. Justin's laughing there with that emoji. All right, we'll get out of here, guys. Looking forward to a great victory. Obviously, I was going to say it's like a tournament, survive and advance. We did on the road. Pirates win 2014, and looking good, guys. I tell you what, we've got a lot of great people listening and watching tonight. It's just exploding, and it's kind of a good problem to have where so many questions and comments. We're trying to get on as many as possible. So
maybe we need to start doing it, just
16. Hey guys, we have 16 likes, and before we get out of here, Bubba, I'm sorry I forgot about that. Thank you, my friend. I'm really tired like you are.
That's $80, Dave.
That's just on YouTube. We have a ton more on other channel, on other avenues too.
Yeah, AAC scores. I'm sorry, Bubba. You want to do that before we get out of here?
Yeah, starting off within the state, you had North Carolina defeating Charlotte 38-20. Of course, the Tar Heels had lost their quarterback, Max Johnson, up in that game against Minnesota, and they were able to defeat the 49ers again 38-20. Navy defeated Temple 38-11. UTSA lost in blowout fashion in San Marcos 49-10.
Texas State looks good.
They do. You had South Florida once again playing Bama, a very competitive game, very misleading final score, 42-16. That was 21-16. Midway or a little over midway through the fourth quarter, Matt? You had Arkansas State rallying from a 17-7 halftime deficit to defeat Tulsa 28-24. ULM, their coach, Brian Vincent, he had been the interim coach when Bill Clark stepped down. So needless to say, when he did not get that UAB job, he had this one circled. 32-6, Warhawks over the Blazers. Rice 69, Texas Southern 7, North Texas 35, Stephen F. Austin 20. Army went down to Boca and defeated Florida Atlantic 24-7. You had Memphis defeating Troy 38-17. It really was not that close. And then Tulane, was and kind of got shafted with some calls late in that game.
Yes.
And Kansas State, the 17th ranked Wildcats, defeated the Green Wave 34-27 at Ullman Stadium in New Orleans.
I want to comment on a couple of those games. One, FAU so far does not look like they're living up to the hype. We'll see as the season goes, but FAU not living up to the hype so far. Two, UTSA, again, another team that's supposed to be really good this year. How good is Texas State? I know they did really well in the portal. They got Arizona State Thursday night. So when we play excuse me, not when we play. When Texas State plays Arizona State Thursday night, don't be surprised if they pull that upset off after they just blew out UTSA. And there was one more game that caught my attention from the American scoreboard. Oh, Monroe dominating UAB. Really nice win for Monroe over UAB. That one surprised me. And then I want to touch on something. Congratulate the Northern Illinois Huskies. Northern Illinois is a great program. Upset a lot of people over the years. They have very much built a reputation, on pulling off upsets. They've been to a New Year's Six bowl, but that was, on paper, their biggest upset in program history, and they were number 25 in the country this week. And right now, are in the driver's seat to represent the group of five in the playoff if they manage to win the MAC. So we'll see how that plays out. But congrats to the Northern Illinois Huskies for pulling off the upset against Notre Dame.
Richard saying we need Boise State to continue to lose. They are the national media favorite for the 12-team playoff.
Well, not anymore. Now it's Northern Illinois, Richard. And that performance they had against Oregon last night, Richard, is not going to hurt them. If NIU drops a couple of games, that performance to Oregon last night is not going to hurt Boise at all for their playoff spot. But NIU would be the lead horse right now. Although I've seen NIU under this head coach, they're going to lose to somebody they shouldn't. They'll. I don't know who they play next week, but they might lose next week.
Yeah, that seems to happen. That's a big game they got up for, being in South Bend, and what a legendary program with Notre Dame. And I think they got something, was it 1.2, 1.4, somewhere in there to play. They got something like that to play Notre Dame.
1.4.
I would like to do a bye game at Notre Dame.
1.4. Yep. Big day for the MAC yesterday. I mean, Bowling, obviously Northern Illinois, but how about Bowling Green? Almost, they played really well in Happy Valley.
Yeah.
Against Penn State. That was a surprise.
They did.
Really quick, guys. I just wanted to address one of Elliot. I know Elliot had a few questions we missed. Elliot, we had so many questions coming through. It was tough to keep up. Elliot had asked earlier, I don't know if we got this one. Is the offensive coach calling plays from the booth or the sideline?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he's
booth.
You got that one? Okay.
Yeah. I put it up there, but he was asking about about being benched. Talking about Garcia. We talked about that a lot. But Garcia will be benched if we have a few turnovers.
According to Holton, and he knows Houston, he said that he would imagine, and knows how the process goes, as we'll repeat it again, he imagines there will be a lot of conversations between Kate and Hauser, Baker, and Houston this week in practice, and he'll be told to be ready. And if you see a couple of picks in the first half, you'll probably see Hauser come out on the field.
Christian Bateman helped out yesterday with the show. Thank you, Christian. He's asking, why is Memphis ranked?
I did not realize they were. I knew Northern is it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kyle. Sorry.
I saw the poll. I saw I don't know if the AP or the coaches poll I saw today, and I didn't know Memphis was ranked. I didn't notice Memphis being ranked in the poll I saw, but that's good for the league that they're ranked. I don't know that it's justified. I'm like Christian, but I won't complain about it.
I think Seth Hennigan, right, is in like his 14th year at Memphis, if I'm not mistaken. So very good quarterback. I mean, maybe they like what they see from the quarterback and the offense there at Memphis.
No doubt. We'll see how that ranks out for them. And Memphis is so in the league right now, guys. You have Army, Navy, East Carolina, Memphis, North Texas, all 2-0 right now. So winning their first games. And I'll tell you another thing, not looking ahead. I'll just say this real fast, guys. But what's that?
Sorry. Yeah. No, John White just mentioned Memphis goes to FSU this weekend. That's a game they could win. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Dave, but I just noticed
Memphis can beat in Florida State. And by the way, guys, I want whoever DJ, what is it, Underlay? Is that his last name?
DJ, you talking about Florida State's quarterback?
Yeah.
It's not Underlay.
It's like Ugalele?
DJ,
Bubba, I need help with that one. That's one.
DJ Ooga Booga Lala. DJ, Underlay.
That's the closest I can get to it. Anyway, he is got the best agent out there, whatever you want to call him, handler, whatever, because he was terrible at Clemson, he was terrible at Oregon, and now he's coming to
He wasn't. It was Oregon State he was at. He was never at Oregon,
State,
but he wasn't terrible at Oregon State.
But I mean, not what I'm saying is he's not living up to, Dr. Pepper commercials and all the stuff they've had on him.
No, they should have. Well, they're not doing what they did with him at Oregon State. They're doing what they did with him at Clemson, which didn't work.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
And I don't know why they went with him, because there's other quarterbacks out there. And guys, Florida State spent $12 million on NIL. Think about that, $12 million. Ohio State bragging they spent $20 million. Can you imagine if we spent $20 million on NIL? I mean, wow, $20 million, but $12 million. That's what hurts, is when you spend $12 million and you're 0-2.
I think it's hysterical.
Must be nice, right? Must be nice.
Yeah, I'm not crying for them. I'm just saying that they $12 million is a lot of cash to be 0-2. But you can turn things around. We'll see how that plays out. Do you guys have any other games you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Just
we ran long enough. I mean, there are a lot of good games from the past weekend and a lot of good games coming up this weekend. The biggest game we all need to be looking forward to is East Carolina App State. We need to pack the stadium out, try to sell it out, try to get 51,000 in there. I would suggest some marketing from ECU this week rather than just resting on our laurels, to try to get people to come out. This is a huge game, 4:00 kickoff, in-state rival. We're 2-0 and live on ESPNU. So be there, man. If you're a Pirate, if you give a damn about this program, be there, be loud, and let's see if we can make a moment. We need a moment in Dowdy Ficklin. It's been too long.
The soccer team today, I don't want to jinx it, guys. The soccer team today, they had a 0-0 tie, a draw. And so our Pirate sports are undefeated in everything right now. So nice. Way to go. Really cool. And
people always said having a draw is like kissing your sister. I've never agreed with that. I've always thought kissing your sister was disgusting.
Yeah, no doubt. And we're going to get out of here before we're a family show, so we're going to try to do that. Guys, thank you so much.
Well, your sister is part of your family.
Yes. Oh man, classic Kyle, riding the Queen Anne's Revenge, baby, in October, coming up with the down I-85. It'll be great. All right, Bubba, Kyle, Matt, we're going to get out of here. Repeating the score one more time. Pirates win big. Well, not big, but it was a big win for us on the road, 20-14 over ODU. And you heard it all right here on the Pirate Football Playback on the Sports Objective. Good night, everybody. And as always, go Pirates.
You're watching the Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.